Hello, hello. Welcome. Let me just make sure chat is working. Might take a second here. Chat is not cooperating. How about now? There we go. Now chat is cooperating. And welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully, hopefully you are as excited as I am to get into Chapter 3 of RuneScape's The Gift of Guthix. Sorry about rubbing the microphone all over the things. But, where we left off, we realized that Ilmi was an unwilling spy for her aunt. And what she really wants to do is learn to be a wizard, and right now she can't really do that because she has to report back to her, I think, cousin. I'm pretty sure Ilmi was orphaned, taken in by this aunt, and she kind of molded her into a little spy so that they could spy on Lord Radolin. But Ilmi didn't really want to do that, and only did it because she needed a place to stay and food on the table, so she did that. But what she really wants is to, learn more about the magic and the runes, the rune essence that she found. So she's sort of caught in the middle there. Lord Radolin, I think that's his name. He is sort of, if we look at the map here, he is over in Falador. Falador, over here. And canonically, let's just, for the sake of clarity, the RuneScape map in game is very shrunk down from what it is in like the lore, right? So Falador is supposed to be like a 2 weeks journey from Varrock. Varrock is supposed to be a city of like thousands of people, but it's smaller than that could possibly be. So the map is a little bit shrunk down just so that the interesting stuff is easier to get to. And if it was to scale with the lore, this game would be so massive, no one would ever walk anywhere, and starting a new account without teleports would be the worst thing. But yeah, Lord Radolin is in Falador, and he's sort of uniting all of the little towns, I guess you could say, like Draenor, Rimington, Taverley, sort of uniting all of these under his banner to sort of, I don't know, consolidate power, grow his empire. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, this is Chapter 3 of RuneScape, The Gift of Guthix. The 8th year of the reign of Lord Radolin of the Dawnblast tribe, the 33rd day of the month of Mjolving, the Asgarnian frontier. Master Indel's expedition didn't get underway until after. Oh, yeah, right now what they're trying to do is they found the rune essence, but they need to find the rune crafting altars to actually turn that essence into something useful. Master Indel's expedition didn't get underway until after winter had passed. Long months of strikes and retreats amongst the knights. Here, let me actually grab. Oop, oop, oop. Hop, hop, hop. Let's grab an orb of Oculus and our cape. And let's head to Falador. Just to give this a little more of a thematic feel. Gotta turn off key remapping for this to work. You think the gates are probably fine. Yeah, that's good. And let's get that ping grapher out of here, just so the scene looks a little bit nicer. And oh, I can't forget. I gotta turn on some tunes. Okay. Master Indel's expedition didn't get underway until after winter had passed. Long months of strikes and retreats among the knights, the Aziris and Itorian parting over the maps and ancient texts, the huddling in the dark, waiting for the weather to turn again, long months of Ilmi riding out to the Druid's Grove, sometimes to meet with Martin, sometimes to sit with her guilt. Ilmi thought of Gunnar and the Fremniks. How cold the winters must be when their summer still had such a bite to it. She thought of Zoria, and wondered if the frog guardian slept beneath the mud of the rune essence, while snow piled on the mine's entrance. Some days she went into the room where the rune essence was stored, waiting for the altars that would shape it into runes, and simply sat with the feeling of magic pulling on her soul. It had stopped feeling dangerous at some point in the dark, snowy winter, and began to felt right and comfortable. She let herself imagine a future where she was not bound to flee back to Morana, death on her heels. The apprentice and when she could be Master Indel's third apprentice and craft runes like wizards had done in ancient times, she wouldn't worry about how a changing world might chew her up if she could wield runes. She indulged perhaps too long in that fantasy. There had also been arguments about who would accompany Master Indel on his expedition. He'd enlisted another wizard, a Ceredominus called Unaya, who was an accomplished summoner, in addition to studying theories of runecraft. He brought a pair of apprentices, a young man and a woman. Aziris would come, of course, and Iritona and Ilmi, which gave Master Indel the advantage on apprentices, in appearance at least. For protection, they would need soldiers. Sanafin Volzen had volunteered to go along, leading a faction of her black knights. I find myself intrigued, she said. And can't a knight also wield magic? Maybe I'll take it like a second sword. Just what we need, Adelar said dryly. Zamarakian spellcasters. You should get used to the idea, Sir Aldalar, Master Indel said. To my knowledge, runes don't have a creed requirement. We shall soon have Zamarakian spellcasters, and Ceredominus spellcasters, and Guthixian spellcasters, Armadillian, and Lord Radlin will find use for every one we can. Gritting his teeth, Adelar agreed, but Valzin had only smiled. Maybe you can debate the matter while we find out if it's possible. Adelar could not ride with them if Valzin was gone. One of them needed to remain with Radlin, he argued. But he could not send a detachment of white knights to keep the wizards. He could send a detachment of white knights to keep the wizards safe, and to be sure that the Zamorakians didn't gain any particular benefit from being there first. The knight who led the detachment out of Falador was a lieutenant named Perrier. A broad-shouldered man with dark skin and a close-cut beard. He eyed Valzin with the Kinshra with particular mistrust, but kept his knights in tight formation and was polite, even friendly, to the wizards in his charge. Neither Aziris nor Iritona seemed to enjoy traveling. Aziris complained often about the insects and how they ought to have sent a knight out to find the rune altars first, and then sent the wizards to fix them once that was done. Iritona fretted over the many people in their party, and their discontent with each other. She settled for checking in on Ilmi so incessantly that Aziris finally told her to give it a rest and stop annoying the scribe. UNAIAS. Your guess is as good as mine. Anias's apprentices, Zamorakian and Zanmoran and Chloris, did not introduce themselves to Ilmi, nor deign to speak to her, but she was glad of them all the same. It was much easier to slide out of notice with the apprentices jockeying for position with each other. Perhaps we should divide our forces, Uyana suggested when they made a long trek around Mistalin to the frontier beyond the town of Varrock. She was a striking woman, with thick reddish hair, a pointed chin, and a Saradominist's desire for hierarchy. I wouldn't, Master Uyana, Velzen cautioned. There are things hunting in the wilds that you could waste a great many runes on and still die in the process. And we don't know what's required, Indel added. The old ways needed circles, great rituals of wizards acting in... Very well, Master Indel, Uyana said briskly. You are in charge of the expedition. Lead on. In the nights beside the campfire, while Master Indel, Iritona, and Aziris sorted through the runes they'd brought, and what ancient talisman might help, Ilmi secretly recorded the building tension between the wizards and the full flower dislike between the black and white knights. The world is in upheaval, she wrote. Great changes are upon us. In ages past, the priests of Guthix said, the upheaval had been the god wars. While Guthix slept, the hymns all went. Jealous gods came to Gielinor, and walked its surface, demanding fealty from the humans and the primacy from their followers. It had ended only when Guthix had woken and put a stop to the fighting, banishing all gods beyond the edicts. Before reminding humanity he would not save them again. Therefore, the priests said, they must solve their own problems. They did not mention the possibility of someone like Zoria, Ilmi noted, watching the Saradominists and the Zamorakians divide into their own little encampments. Ilmi wondered if the gods were content, now, to fight by proxy through their worshippers. She wondered if that left followers of Guthix to stand up and stop them. She didn't think that was possible. But there was Sanifin Valzin yet again, striding through the camps and through as though there weren't a single thing stopping her, saluting her knights and pariahs alike, and with a jaunty insolence. She's up to something. Find out what. Martin had said the last time Ilmi met with him, when she told him Velzen herself was coming along. Everyone knows she came down out of Mistlin to raise up a knight in Asgarnia. Probably chose Radalin because he's the easiest to manipulate. That was the simple answer. The answer one drew from the situation as if looking at a chessboard. But a knight on a game board could only take a predetermined path, and it moved with only one purpose. You could predict a board game. Ilmi mentally listed what she knew about Marshal Valzen as they rode. She had come from Mistlin, the second child of a duke. She worshipped Zamorak, which Ilmi suspected her family had a disagreement with. As full Saradominus, a Mistlin as full of Saradominus as Mistlin was. She fought with a sword. The Kinshra obeyed her eagerly. Ilmi had never seen her lose her temper. She had seen her make a lot of other people lose theirs. Valzen had a way of dancing around a debate that made it seem as if she had no firm opinion except a desire to prove others wrong. No, Ilmi thought, returning to the arguments about the rune altars. It was as if she was testing each of them, making them sure up their arguments, baiting them into what? Had Valzen gotten what she wanted here? Ilmi couldn't say. It rattled her. Perhaps, she thought, all Valzen wanted was to help realize Radalin's goals, a united Asgarnia, a kingdom where no god was ascendant. Ay. What is this? Ah, that's why the music wasn't coming through. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Ah, something seems to be amiss here. No, that's not working either. There we go. No. Looking for some good music. How about a classic? Okay. In the long, slanting light of late afternoon, the party of wizards, apprentices, black knights, and white knights came to a river deep in the land of Asgarnian tribes. The waters were swift, with spring melt, but the bed was wide and shallow. On the other side lay a dark forest. We should make camp, Uania called. Wait until daylight. Who knows what's in those woods? The rune altar should be very close to here, Indil said, scanning the thick trees on the other side. And it will still be there come the morning. I can't pronounce this name. Oh well. Unaya began. Valzen cut her off. What are we looking for? She asked Indel. A ruin, Indel said. Might be no more than a pile of rocks, but once it would have been a stone circle. He pulled out a map and a map scrawled with notes. The river has moved its course since the altar was established. It's been 8,000 years, so it won't be on the banks as it once was. But there should be remains. It isn't just stone. Then how are you sure it's there? Valzen asked. I'm not, Indil said simply. But if it isn't, then we ought to turn back because all my maps will be suspect. And I'd rather know that as soon as we can. This is preposterous, Uyana said. Anaya said. Then it will feel a great deal more preposterous once we've forded the river and your pretty robes are wet, Velzen said brightly. So I hope you'll find a way to make your peace. She directed Kinshra down the Kinshra down to the water to test the fording, and once a few experienced riders had made the passage, the others led the wizard's horses into the water. The White Knights and Anaya had little choice but to follow, and then they were in the wild edges of Misthalin. The forest closed around them, green and shadowed. The call of birds hidden in the thick canopy rose and fell as they passed through, the path narrowing as the trees crept closer. The party narrowed with it. A line of knights ahead and the three apprentices behind, as the light faded further with the approaching dusk. Ilmi scanned the woods as she led her horse, searching for signs of a rune altar, or riders from any of the tribes opposing Radalin. Do we know if the Carivis tribe has scouts here? Iritona whispered, as they came up to a clearing where Master Indel was conferring with Master Uriana. No, there's no in that. Anaya and Sir Perrier. What do we do if they've been tracking us? We don't get caught, Velzen whispered back, appearing as if from nowhere behind them. All three Greencloak girls jumped. Hands on your reins! Helmets there. Your master wishes to go hunting. I hate when she does that, Aziris muttered, handing over the reins. How does she creep like that in armor? While a handful of knights set to picketing the horses and setting camp, Master Indel led the wizards and the bulk of each force into the dark woods. Ilmi walked close behind Aziris and Iritona, wishing they had stayed behind, and as the setting sun let long shadows reach through the woods. But then she felt it. Aziris did too. Ilmi saw the girl turn to the left, just as she felt the pulse of magic a lure pulling against her soul, beckoning her off the path. Ilmi grabbed Aziris' arm, and the other young woman whispered, "What is that?" "What is what?" Iritona whispered, edging up close behind them, peering into the dense ferns. Something low to the ground moved away from them, sending a shiver through their plants. Through the plants. What is that? Iritona repeated, grabbed Aziris as well. Ilmi stepped forward, watching the movement, feeling the strange pull beyond it, as if the thing in the ferns were being tugged along as well. I think it's the rune altar, she said. Rune altars can't move, Iritona said, almost a squeak now. Guthix wake and save us, Aziris swore. She means the pulling thing, not the rabbit or whatever it is. She raised her voice. Master Indel, I think it's over here. The ferns ahead of Ilmi stopped trembling. She took another step, and whatever it was came towards her, weaving back and forth. She bent, trying to peer through the underbrush. What is it? Master Indel demanded, coming up beside her. Is it here? Whatever was in the ferns suddenly sprinted away, racing in the same direction as she felt the faint tug from. I think that it's that way, she said, pointing after the trembling ferns. Master Indel began wading through the undergrowth. Come on, girls. It's not going to come to us. If Ilmi had not known what the pull of magic on her soul felt like, she would have passed the fallen rune altar by. In a clearing surrounded by towering elms, the tumble of huge stones, their surfaces obscured by shaggy moss and layers of dirt, might have been nothing more than a perch for wolves, a hollow for a badger, a dark nest for creeping insects. And now, let's get a happier song. I'm pretty sure they would be at the body altar, because they did say they went into Misthalin. They wouldn't be at the Earth... Well, they might be at the Earth altar. Does it matter too much which altar they're at? I just want to get a good shot of an altar. Excuse me. No, that's all the way up at the monastery. What we want is right here. What's a good angle for this? Ooh, I like that. I like... That's a good angle. Okay. I will be right back. All right. What is this music? I wish I could switch the music without going out of the Oculus Orb. Unfortunately, we can't. Anyway, let's continue. Their surface... If Ilmi had not known what the pull of magic on her soul felt like, she would have passed the fallen rune altar by. In a clearing surrounded by towering elms, the tumble of huge stones, their surfaces obscured by shaggy moss and layers of dirt, might have been nothing more than a perch for wolves, a howl for a badger, a dark nest for creeping insects. But it wasn't. Master Indel broke through the underbrush, striding up to the stones. My bad. He pulled away the moth from one facet, revealing a broad, flat stone, split by a craggy rock. Weathered marks of words in an unfamiliar language had been carved deep into the surface. "This is the altar," Master Indel muttered. His hand smoothed the stone surface of the table, running down the edges of the crack. Something's badly damaged it, but if it's possible. Anaya came to stand beside him, peering at the carvings. Aziris peered over his shoulder. "Do we have the runes to repair it?" "Here," Master Indel said, thrusting a bag of runes he carried into her hands. "Let me read this, and you can make a tally." Ilmi's tongue stuck in her mouth. A vortex of magic flowed into every fracture, only instead of feeling like the rune essence did, an insistent dragging on her soul, this felt more like a word was narrowing into a passage that she wanted more than anything to race down. The table was broken, yes. The altar damaged, but the power was still here. It's not broken, she managed, almost panting. Master Indel frowned at her. What was that? We could try sealing the cracks with rune essence, Aziris went on, running her hand over the crack in the stone. The markings, Anaias began. Air, Ilmi whispered, her thoughts overflowing with the answer, like a great wind seeping everything else away. It makes air. It wants air. Master Anaya looked at her, eyes narrowed. How did you... She broke off with a sharp cry, her eyes widening as Ilmi felt at Ilmi's feet. Ilmi looked down and saw a small purplish creature sniffing at her boot. It looked like a dragon, one out of Master Indel's history books, only it was the size of a cat. What in the Shattered Plains is that? Pariah said, drawing his sword. Leave it, Master Anaya said. Ilmi, Master Indil said sternly, you need to back away very slowly. The creature looked up at her and made a chirping sound. Its wings unfolded, tilting. Its wings unfolding and tilting expressively. Ilmi took the directed step back and crouched to offer her hand for the little dragon to sniff. Its forked tongue shot out as it grazed her knuckle roughly. Its wings tilted again, and it made another little gurgle. Abruptly, it became still, its neck extending as it searched the forest. It scampered up the ruins of the rune altar and sprang into the air, flapping up into the canopy of trees. Behind Ilmi, Valzen let out a sharp hiss, gesturing for silence. In the shadows, something clattered, reminding Ilmi of Martian's arrows rattling in their quiver. As he kept pace with her, the sound echoed from the opposite side of the clearing, a signal and response. Ilmi backed into the altar, searching the trees. Get working, Valzen said. We're about to have company. She pulled her helmet down, obscuring her face, and gestured first to her lieutenant, and then the leader of the White Knights, Pariah, hesitated, but hearing the strange rattle again, and the unmistakable crunch of leaf fall deep in the brush, he nodded once and made the same silent gesture to his knights. Black and white, they formed a circle around the trio at the rune altar, swords ready. Do we have air runes? Aziris asked. Be quiet, Master Indil said, his eyes on Ilmi. I'm thinking. The carving says the same, Anaya said. This is the air rune altar. Whatever your scribe is talking about, she's got that much right. A spider dropped from the high branches, as large as a cart horse, its legs sharply pointed around and abdomen marked with blazes of red. It rattled its mandibles, and the sound echoed again, not just from the farther side, but all around, the spiders circling their prey. Aziris screamed, grabbing onto Ilmi's arm. Her hand shot into her bag of runes, grasping wildly. The knight's gaze turned upwards, tracking the spider as they dipped lower, so the wolves creeping from the forest verge came terrifyingly close before Kintra's knight spotted them and sounded the alarm. In one moment, everyone was tense, preparing. The next came the chaos of battle, the clash of metal, and the screams of beasts and humans alike. Anaya shoved her apprentices to one side, pulling a scroll from her belt. She shouted strange words, and the air split, a praying mantis the size of one of the wolves, tearing free of empty space. The summoned mantis took the spider out of the air with a scythe-like leg. Make a circle, Anaya snapped, pointing at the apprentices. You on my left, you. Her finger moved from Aziris, hesitating a moment before including Ilmi. And you on my right, Indel. Flip them, he said, over the shouts and snarls. Aziris to her left. Boy, you come over here. Guthixian, Guthixian, Ceradominist. Ilmi. Get out of the way, he snapped at Aziris. How many air runes do we have left? The clatter of this one's going to be a difficult word. The clatter of a chitinous body made Ilmi spin around. One of the terrible spiders had dropped down behind the knights. It seized the praying mantis in its jaws and snapped its head. Two sharp legs struck the Ceredominist apprentice's shoulders. Their hair tips snagging in his coat as the spider slammed him down. Zanmaran thrashed, trying to kick at as high, arching abdomen, and Ilmi could only stare. A scream caught in her throat. The necklace, she thought desperately. Moriana's amulet would keep herself, but could she trigger it to save him? A sword broke through the spider's head with a crunch and a splatter of ichor. Its legs pulled in, as if clutching its heart, and the apprentice's blue cloak ripped with a sudden movement. Volzin stood over him, his shining sword dripping gore. "Get it working," she bellowed to Indel and Unaya. Indil yanked the young man to his feet, shoving a gleaming white stone the size of a coin into his hand. "Stand here, don't move." Wolves charged the wall of knights. Another spider dropped swiftly from the trees, sinking poisonous fangs into a black knight distracted by the snapping wolves. Every wizard and apprentice, Ilmi besides, took one of the air runes, made a circle around the ruined altar. The vortex of magic kept spinning, the altar's ragged magic still hungry, and nothing changed. Hot panic washed over Ilmi. Indel threw something to her, and she caught the gleaming weight from the air. It was a talisman, with etched curling lines. A blessing of air. "Hold that," he shouted. "Aziris, we need something to repair it," Indel barked. "A rune of law or a rune of astral." "There's only one law rune," Aziris cried back. "Dig in the bottom," Eritona wailed. "There's at least 3. Another spider dropped, this one larger, dripping poison right onto the altar, right above Unaria's reach. The master brought her rune up with a grunt of effort. It climbed into her hand, and the stone became a swirl of light, hazy as fire wool wrapping around her hand, and then it burst out with a gush of wind strong enough to blow the giant spider back, crashing down between Ilmi and Unaya's male apprentice. It twitched, starting to turn over, one scythe-like leg stabbing down beside Ilmi. She raised her own runestone, but with no training, no sense of how to access the magic bound inside it. It was only a gleaming rock. The talisman, a pretty weight. But a weight would do. She smashed the talisman onto the spider's leg, snapping it at the joint. "There's a girl!" Pariah cried, as he and another of the white knights descended on the beast. "Ilmi, pay attention," Indel snapped. "Aziris, give me the law rune, and hold my staff. We're trying again." A howl echoed through the woods, something deep and terrible, far beyond the beasts that prowled the grove and harried the knights. Something animal deep within Ilmi locked her joints, told her to freeze, to hope that the howling beast didn't see her. From the shadowy woods burst a wolf like a siege engine, powerful muscles bunching under moon-silver fur. Teeth rivaled the swords of the knights and of both orders. A thing out of children's stories and nightmares. Don't go into the woods alone, or else you'll be devoured, and no one will ever find your bones. It had heard the noise of the attack, the shouts of the humans, and known there was prey to seize. "Cut it off," he heard Volzin shout, and saw the white knights knock arrows in response. "Don't let it reach the altar." The wolf didn't so much as flinch as a dozen arrows peppered its sides, seizing Anaya's female apprentice by the head as it bounded past, snapping her neck and tossing her into the scramble of smaller wolves and spiders. A Kinshra knight struck it across the face with a sword, and the great wolf responded by slamming his head against the knight, sending him sprawling. It wheeled around, turning back towards the altar, its huge yellow eyes on Ilmi. An air rune in her hand, the talisman in her right, Ilmi dimly realized that even if she could force the rune to work for her, it wouldn't be enough to stop the monster now surging towards her. Right on top of her. A burst of light and heat, and an inevitable rush of magic screamed around her like a whirlwind. A weight yanked against her neck, and the wolf yelped as if hit by a weapon. She had no hands to carry. Cringed, pulled free of her. Night sprang forward, black and white, putting a wall between her and the suddenly weakened creature. The air rune slipped from her fingers as Ilmi reached up and touched the necklace, now hanging free of her blouse, burning to the touch. That's what it does, she thought numbly. Ilmi, Master Indel roared. She turned back to the circle, scooped up the dropped air rune, and stepped back into place. The others thrust their runes forward, and Ilmi matched them, shoving both the talisman and the rune into the broken stone. Ilmi felt the vortex stop. The magic began to spin in the other direction, but to speak of direction or spin felt insufficient. It was as if the axis of some invisible world had shifted inexorably. A gust of wind swept around the circle of them. From nowhere, bellowing nowhere, every hair on Ilmi's skin stood on end, brightness searching out of the weathered carvings, brightness searing out of the weathered carvings of the altar. Ilmi blinked, and the chaos of battle was gone. The circle was gone. The forest and the ruins and the wolves were gone. She stood high on a flat-topped hill overlooking an endless forest on a warm, moonless night. The stars glittered overhead, peeking through the last glow of the setting sun. There was no river, no city in the distance, no monster and no knights. Before them stood the altar, or perhaps its undamaged double, the carvings clear and sharp, stones erect and neatly balanced, an altar surrounded by mirrors. The vortex of the altar wheeled like a falcon in the summer sky, a slow winding in that felt as if it must take a century to trace the path from the edge to the center. Like the circuit of Guthix sacred grove, her soul longed to follow it. Where are we? She breathed. She looked around, but only saw Aziris clutching Master Indel's staff, staring at her with eyes wide as coins. Where's everyone else? Aziris swallowed, searching the strange and silent forest beyond the hill. This song will not do. That's better. Aziris swallowed, searching the strange and silent forest beyond the hill. You had the talisman, she said. I had the staff. Hopefully, they'll still be alive when we return. She turned back towards Ilmi and asked, Where did you get that necklace? Ilmi's breath caught, and she reached up to cover the amulet. It was just a gift. A gift? I've never seen an amulet do something like that. It has to be ancient. Who would give you that? She narrowed her eyes. Did you steal it? No, Ilmi burst out. My aunt gave it to me. Your aunt? Aziris repeated, stepping towards her. You told me you were an orphan. I am. But you have a mysterious aunt giving you an amulet that stuns monsters? She tilted her head. Master Indel doesn't know you have that. He would have wanted to examine it, which means I don't think you've had it very long. But you don't go anywhere except the grove. Ilmi grappled for a lie that would appease her sudden suspicion, seized the truth of Aziris and bend them away from her secret. She faltered. I have a lover. Nobody can know. Aziris snorted. A lover who meets you in the Druid's Grove and gives you priceless artifacts? You have to be courting Radalin himself for a gift like that. Or another warlord. She trailed off, eyebrows raised. Or, she said, eyes growing sharp, another warlord. And maybe you weren't lying. Maybe your aunt gave you that because you're a spy. That you're the spy that Morana of the Navarre sent. In all Ilmi's fears and imaginings, Aziris had never been the one she expected to discover her. The terror came as if from nowhere, a crashing wave to sweep her from her feet. That's ridiculous, Ilmi said, scrabbling for something else. Master Indel's right about you. You're so afraid of anyone. Maybe we'll just ask Master Indel, Aziris interrupted. I'll bet if anyone knows the provenance of that necklace, it's him. Or maybe Master Onaya. Or Master Marshal Valzin. Ilmi raised her hands, the talisman clutched in one. Please, it's not like it seems. Is that what Lord Radalin would say? Aziris asked her. her cruelty growing, because I think he'd be very disappointed in you. She licked her lips, thinking, and nodded towards the altar. You had a strong reaction to the rune essence, and you were the one who noticed the runes first. Who knew they were bound? Who knew they were bound to the air? She held out a bag of rune essence. Take this. See what happens. Ilmi folded the bag against her chest. Are you? Do it, Azir said. We're going to bring Master Endel back his runes. Ilmi turned, shaking, and set the bag between her feet. I don't know. No one knows, Azira said scathingly. But you've been happy to pipe up with your feelings all through this, happy to stick your nose in Falador's business, and pass it along to your warlord aunt. I didn't, Ilmi began. I didn't want to. I didn't tell her everything. I hid the rune essence mine, especially. But there was nothing she could say now that mattered. She reached into the bag with both hands, cupping a double palm full of the rune essence, pale and gray and already pulling towards the slow vortex of the rune altar. She drew a slow, deep breath and blew it out, trying to quell the shaking, trying to dispel images of exploding magic or rifts that spilled demons. She shut her eyes and concentrated on the current of magic, pushing aside the terror building in her. She thought again of Zoria, the Guardian's warnings, but also the reassurance. This was the goal, after all, the reason the rune mine had appeared. They were supposed to seize the magic again. For long moments she just stood, her handfuls of rune essence, gravel, her mind trying to grasp hold of the power emanating from the altar. She had no training, no sense of what she was supposed to do, and yet Azirus knew her secret. How could Ilmi deny her anything? This frantic need, that want searing through her soul, suddenly overtook her thoughts, and it was as if something in her shifted, aligned to the spiraling power of the altar, and poured through her palms into the rune essence she clutched there, sucking all of her breath with it. And then it faded. Ilmi gasped, unable for a moment to fill her lungs or unclench her fists. The rune essence pressed painfully into her hands. Azira stepped up beside her and unpeeled her fingers. It wasn't rune essence she held any longer. In each palm lay 3 shining runestones, the bright nested arcs that marked them as air runes, shimmering in the strange ambient light. Azirus gave a short, barking laugh and picked one up, holding it gently as a songbird's eggs. And then she grinned, and for a moment, Ilmi felt light, as if they'd managed something together. They'd done it. They'd achieved the extraordinary. They'd made runes again. Then she stumbled, dizzily. Rune crafting, Azirus said primely, is difficult to do well. Azirus says it takes a little of your soul when you do it. Is that what it is? Ilmi said, her voice shaking. Maybe, Azirus said, still admiring the runes. As I said, just theories, but you'll recover. She turned the rune over in his hand with one thumb. I think Lord Radalin doesn't need to know anything just yet, so long as you take care of this one for me. This, Ilmi said. You make the runes, she said, and I'll take the credit. I'm the apprentice, after all. It's not my fault you seem to be born with the it's not my fault you seem to have been born with an aptitude. Ilmi swallowed. And if I do this, you won't tell them about Morana? We'll see, Azirus nodded. At the altar again. Finish the rest of the bag. We have a long way to go to find all the altars. And now we have introduced blackmail into the story. Intriguing. Turn off this music. Well, that was chapter 3 of The Gift of Guthix. Interesting stuff. I like that it's moving along. It's moving along quickly. And I think I mean, it's only the 3rd chapter, but I can kind of see a nice sort of rhythm happening in the book where it's a nice sort of oscillation between like uh action and adventure versus like uh what would it be called, like nobility and politics and the rivalries between kingdoms. It moves like between the political aspect and the intrigue of it into like action, and so it's a nice mix of both. I've been enjoying it, but as promised, I will be going to next. Let me actually, you know what? Let me make some room in my bank. Let's decant some potions. What will I need? I'll need more brews. I'll need more super restores. I could do with a few more sand fuse. Could do with a few more super combats, but I think we'll be okay. And how much cash do we have to work with? Okay, so we can get about, let's say, because you really chug brews at Nex. Let's get about 100 of those. Maybe like super restores. Let's get about 40 or 50 of them. And then let's go sand fuse. How many sand fuse can I get? I'll get that 20. And what else do we have? We got plenty of Nile shards we can sell off if we need them. Oh, yeah, my herbs and whatnot. I can sell some of these because I got some of these from chambers. And then while we're at it, why not sell the Nile shards? Onyx bolts. I'll save the dragon bolts for fletching. Rune arrows. Don't need that. Don't need that. What else? What else? Don't really get a lot of bones from there. Oh. Definitely want to sell these gems. And I'll leave the ores for now. I'll let the ores stack up a little bit more before I sell those. I'm not going to say you make money at Nex when you don't get a drop, because you really use a lot of supplies. But, and also a lot of this is from Chambers as Eric. But, I mean, I haven't been having too much trouble sustaining my supplies at Nex. So what do we need for Nex? We need... I'll grab a Gommel's hilt because I'm gonna need that. And then 1, 2, do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. And that. And that. And Voidwaker goes there. And put on our ranged gear. There, there. And then I'll take a stamina. Nope. Take a stamina and an antidote just for getting kill count. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll take 10 of those just in case. And we're gonna get about 200 KC. 200 KC sounds like a good amount where you can do plenty of runs through the room without needing to get more KC, but also If you die and you lose all the KC, it's not that big a deal. And I don't even bring a god item for this part, I just run through because I can tank most of it. And the reason I brought the antidote was because I like to get my kill count on these spiritual mages. So, how's everyone doing today? Nice Saturday morning. I hope you're all doing well. I'm actually gonna see if anyone's online who wants to do next. Why are they both attacking me? What's their problem? No, it doesn't really look like too many people are online. It's still pretty early in the day. I'm sure we will find. I could probably go. I don't think I've snorted like that in a long time. But there we go. That's why we brought the antidote. And an anglerfish will do me fine. But the chat that I'm in, the clan chat that I'm in, is for free-for-all necks. And free-for-all necks is all fine and good. It's just you're less likely to... You're more likely to get a big drop in your name because it's free-for-all, but less consistent money because no one's splitting. This is probably the most boring part of the next grind is just farming up KC before every kill or before every trip. Don't have to do it every kill. But I need to turn my ping grapher on and my key remapping back on. It would be embarrassing to go in there and try and swap my inventory around and just start typing. There's something nostalgic about hearing the intro songs to popular anime and cartoons, but like through a wall, kind of muffled. So you know someone, like your older brother is your older or younger sibling is watching TV, but you're not allowed to because you're grounded. So you put a cup to the wall to listen up to what SpongeBob has to say on this wonderful Saturday morning. Let's get let's get controversial here. Let me go on my news website and I love the news. I like to just scroll through and see the most ridiculous headlines, and the first one that pops up when I open the app is Florida priest accused of biting a woman who grabbed Holy Communion wafers during Mass. Well, it's like, take of my flesh and drink of my blood. Nah, bitch, I'ma take of your flesh. Oh, that's horrible. How would you? Because like priests are generally considered like the fairly pious, fairly well-behaved people. Besides, like, you know, the thing they sometimes do, but um, for the most part, they're like respected members of the community, and I would just. I don't know how I would react if I went up and I got a little too handsy on the communion wafer and the priest just leaned over and bit my finger. I don't know what the proper response to that is. But according to this article, he has been accepted by God and has been repenting for his sin. Father Ramirez tried to prevent desecration of the Holy Communion by stopping a woman from taking it, leading to a physical altercation. The woman felt discriminated against due to her sexuality and attire when she was denied communion by Rodriguez, who claimed she didn't know the proper procedure. The woman accused Rodriguez of grabbing and biting her arm when she tried to take a wafer from him. Oy, oy, oy. That's rough. That's a rough Sunday. Okay. More depressing stuff. More depressing stuff. Dairy cow's got the bird flu now. That's at least something new to complain about. U.S. and Chinese defense chiefs meet. Depressing stuff. Memorial Day weekend predicted to be the busiest since 2005 for travel. Okay, well, I'm not going anywhere Memorial Day anyway, so. Boeing's first astronaut flight now set. I don't know if I trust Boeing to be making astronauts. Boeing's first astronaut flight now set for June after review of small leak on new capsule. Well, I wasn't alive for it, but I remember there was something to do with a very small malfunction in a rocket ship that ended up a national tragedy. So I don't know if a company like Boeing, with their track record of sort of shoddy workmanship, I don't know if they're the best guys to be making spaceships. I mean, at the same time, I don't really trust private companies to do things of that nature. Because when it's a government project like NASA with their Apollo missions, that was like a center of national pride, and it wasn't about making back revenue. It was about discovery and achievement and proving that the Russians are tiny little piss babies who can't get to the moon. Haha, losers. Um, but when a private company that like wants to make money off of the issue is building very expensive, very complex uh, space shuttles and spaceships, I'm pretty sure they're gonna cut some corners. You know, they're gonna save a couple pennies here and there, and just like we've seen with the airplanes that have recently come out and the whistleblowers that have been making their statements heard, they might not have the purest scientific reasons for building these spaceships. They might just be doing it for the money. Anyway, Boeing's gonna kill a couple hundred more people before anything happens. Depressing stuff. Depressing stuff. Man insults judge. That's just not a good headline to have. You don't want to be known as the guy who, one, you don't want to piss off your judge because you know the jury can't be biased against you, but the judge sure can. Um, and you don't really help your case by insulting them. Utah man declined a $100,000 offer to travel to the Congo on a security job that was a covert coup attempt. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know why they picked some random guy from Utah. But you know what? At least when other countries do a coup, they actually get something done. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy, the guy who said, I can eat 5 more brain worms and still beat Donald Trump and Biden in a debate. And it's like, you already have one brain worm? At least one brain worm? Okay. It's a weird self-report, but go on. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Are the Russians and North Korea planning an October surprise? Um, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Some bad stuff going on. Some people talking about creating a unified Reich, which may or may not be a former president. Well, that's not really. I mean, I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on, but when you start sounding like a Nazi, that's not good for. One, that's not good to start with, but that's also really bad for your image. You don't want to be. You don't want to be the guy who's on the side or adjacent to Nazis. That's not a good look. Um, I mean, if that is your goal, the best way to do that, and I think this is a horrible thing and no one should want to do that, but if you really want to overthrow the US government, you keep it real quiet until you're just about to do it. You don't want everyone catching on like a year beforehand. You really want to keep that under wraps until the very last minute. You're going to need a bigger bowl. Highway bandits. Hold on. Highway bandits in Mexico make off with 40 tons of avocados. Huh. Huh. Are are avocados really worth? I mean, they're expensive, sure. But like the thing is, and this is me like, actually, but that's gotta be a load. That's a lot of work to steal 40 tons of avocados. I mean, maybe they just like unhooked one trailer and hooked another one, or maybe they just stole the guy's truck. But that's a lot of avocados, man. Okay, what else is going on? Jackie Robinson is rebuilt in bronze in Colorado after a thief. Someone stole a. Who did? Who would steal? Okay, first off, who would steal a giant bronze statue of Jamie Robinson? Which I guess the previous one was also made of solid bronze. So, one, why would you steal it? Two, what? How? Like, did, did you bring a crane? Did you bring some sort of heavy machinery to move it? And third, how would you hide it? Like, I feel like it'd be the episode of The Simpsons, Sparks cuts off the head of the statue, and everyone's hating him and everyone's looking for him. I feel like if you lived in Colorado and you had the statue of Jackie Robinson in your town and it went missing one day, everyone would be looking for it. And even your friends would sell you out if they were like, yeah, Jason over there, he took a forklift over to the park the other night, and now the statue's missing. So do with that information what you will. But that's tough. I don't I don't know. Sad stuff, depressing stuff. Uh, family stricken with rare brain worms after eating undercooked bear. You'd think if you could kill a bear, you'd at least be able to cook it right. Crows can count similarly to toddlers, according to new study. Neat. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. More sad stuff, more depressing stuff. After mice drank raw H5N1 milk, bird flu virus riddled their organs. Okay, is that is that just proving the point that like, yep, if you take this, you'll get sick. So don't drink this poison milk we got. I'll just leave it lying right here. Maybe just a taste, just a quick taste, just a little snoot. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we get a Metaphyte Remedy, and then 1, 2, 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 and then 1, and then 2, and then I will be right back because I have to uh, relieve. So I will be right back. Okay, back at it again with another legit food review. Okay. Let's look for a room. See, when they say like ZCBF Missouri experienced 479, I'm like, you guys are a bunch of sweats. I know Nex is like high level content, but man, I just want to chill. I just want to do some Nex, maybe get lucky with a drop. Mm. So we can hang out here while we wait for a +1 trio, MP2 trio +2 Fang melee phase 2. That's what I don't like. I don't really like doing melee phase 2 because it's a little bit too risky, and I feel like I'm gonna screw it up and someone's going to get killed. And then I'd be accused of trolling, and then I'd get kicked from the channel. So might as well just avoid that. Range phase 2, that's what we like to see. 464. I don't care, that's a German world, who cares? Looks like we got a good road. Um, let's see, what layer helm should I bring? I'm feeling like red would be out of place. Maybe the Hydra. How does the Hydra one look? Eh, it sort of matches the dark parts. I do want to eventually go for all. Oh.
Here's how I created a door.
Guess we just wait for a third. Yeah, let's just wait for a third. And it is a 3-man, so I'll probably have a pretty good chance of getting a purple in my name. Although Zerite Van Braces would be nice so that I could switch to Pegasian boots or Primordials. I don't know what would be better because I generally use Fang, and I really wouldn't want to do a boot switch. Let me see if anyone's online. Who's online? Faulkner. Maybe I send him a message. Do, 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 do. What time would it be in Germany right now? Nah, if I message him now, he's gonna have to get KC, and that'll take a while, and then we'd be waiting even longer. Might as well just get someone who's already here. This is my standard pre-pop for next. And then eat an extra angler just to top us off to 121. And then grab super restores. Don't grab Sandfuse, because that would be an expensive mistake. Although not undoable, it would cost a lot because Sandfuse are not cheap. And she always takes a while to show up. Oh. And I have the Next Nostalgia plugin on that gives her the old voice lines. A lot of procs going off right now. Next, be humble and just stay right in the middle. That way, we can just nice and easily nice big hit. There we go, reset her. There we go, reset her again. Dip into my brews here. Drink another sip. And a sip of that. Gotta run. Okay, escaped. I really want to kill this thing to get it off of me, because I'm going to need to go to altar pretty soon. This is going pretty well. I haven't used too many supplies. And we center. And Cruor is weak to slash, which is why I use the Void Wicker here. Contain. Don't know how my inventory got messed up like that. Thank you. Symptom? And then overheal a little bit to be safe. Drink our doses. And there we go. And this is where we go in with the Void Waker. Switch to our T-bow. Get off of me, Nex! Get off of me, Nex! Jesus! This last phase is just a click yellow simulator. Taste the wrath of Nex. And that's how you kill Nex. Pretty simple. Just take a lot of damage trying to do it. But that's okay. That's what brews are for. Ba ba da ba. Ba ba da ba. 6. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And through the wall. Pretty much all of my gear right now is focused on killing Nex. Roar! A glacies. A lot of Ruby Bolt procs. And stay humble next. Easy does it. And reset. Nice. Luckily, my Wicked High Mage defense is saving me on those. Can't pray at altar right now. Easy, easy. Okay. On to Glacies. Okay, double Void Waker. And, that's me being dumb. Should be smooth sailing to the end. Come on, next. Give me something good. Gonna have plenty of Dragon Bolts by the time I'm done here. Drink our bruised. One, two, three, four, five, six. Put those away. I'm in a fight. Brew, brew. Divines. Brew, brew. Run and anti. Brew. Alright. Next, we're coming for you. Give me a tour of a plate, you big bingus. I will also take Van Braces. Van Braces would be nice. And I wouldn't say no to a pair of legs. Anything but the hilt, really. And easy onto Kumas. Quick and easy kill. Oh. That's my alarm going off, telling me that it is a certain time of the day. But that's okay. It is the weekend, so I don't really mind. Okay, switch our prayers. Oh no. Well, we gotta finish it. We gotta finish it out. Well, I guess we don't need to bank, because that fucker wouldn't reset. Oh well, that was probably my fault. I'm just going to assume that everything is my fault until I'm good, and then I can say everything is everyone else's fault. But I guess I'll get some more KC. Let's ba 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 burp, 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 burp. There. And then Gommel's Hilt to Trollheim. Deaths cost me 100k per, so hurts the bank, but what can you do, really? And I just put on the God Wars stuff so I don't get piled in here, because you really don't want to die a second time while your stuff is still in that chest, because then everything will be gone. There I was talking about how easy the kill was. Let's put on all of our gear. I'll put that on. Put our melee gear up here. All right. Oh, I still have stuff in there. What do I have in there? I have a Sandfew and Bruise. And I'll just get rid of this and that. And take the Bruise. And now, back to getting kill count. Let's go through some more news posts. There was the news about a priest who bit one of the congregation because they didn't do communion right or something. Boring stuff. Boring stuff. A lot of boring stuff in the news. Yeah, I've already seen all of that news. Let's go to the stupider news, aka Reddit. Oh god. Let's go to popular. What's popular on Reddit right now? What's the bare minimum bottom of the barrel schlock that makes it to the top here? Pictures of cats. Tweets by famous people that you could have already seen if you were on Twitter. Sad pictures. Cool pictures. Slapping competitions. Those are fun. That wasn't on Reddit front page. I just remembered that slapping competitions exist. And I think they're fun. Because with something like boxing, right? Or MMA, it's like you're in there, you're really slugging at each other, and the technique is not the technique is both about offense and defense, and how many hits you can take versus how many you can put out. Whereas a slap fight is just two idiots winding up and slapping the other person as hard as they possibly can. Let me see if I can find... Yeah. While we're getting KC, let's put on a... Let's put on... While we're getting KC, let me see if I can put this on. Window capture, can I do that? And then properties, and there we go. It's just two guys, and they take turns winding up and slapping the shit out of each other. Let's find a good one. Okay, there's this guy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna slap him good. And then they hug. They aggressively hug. And the chalk that comes off their hand looks explosive. Oh my god. Yeah. Slap fighting's fun. I want to get a drop in my name before I leave next. I wonder what I should upgrade next. After next. If I get like a chest plate. If I get anything here, let me actually look some things up. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So this is going for almost 400 mil, the Torva plate is going for. Ah, well, that's the fixed one. So the Torva plate unfixed is 371, which is closer to where I thought it would be. Okay, now let's just do calculator. Divided by minus 190 is probably what we're going to get. Yeah, we wouldn't be enough to buy both ancestral pieces. Although, I could just go with the one ancestral piece, the ancestral top. Because that's what I'm going to need for the Inferno. Use the rest of the money on Justiciar Helm. I'm not sure if I want to go Devout Boots or the Echo Crystal Boots, whatever those are called. The Guardian Boots with the Echo Crystal. I think... Yeah, I will get a Justy Face Guard, which is good. I mean, if I get a big drop, I could get Virtus instead of Ancestral. And use that instead, because it's the same... It's the same... Or, it's a little bit better with Virtus. It's the same max hit, I think. Not sure. Depends what spell I'm going to be using. And if I am going to be using blood spells, so maybe I just go for Virtus instead, and then sell that off for Ancestral at a later date. And then the question is, do I want to go for a Eldritch Nightmare Staff or a Sarah God Sword? The Eldritch Staff... The Eldritch Orb is just... Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, the Eldritch Orb is quite the pricey piece of gear. I'm thinking here. Let's amend. Missouri, Elijah. Okay, Inferno checklist. We need Virtus, Robe. Huh? Justy, Face Guard, Face Guard. Ba, 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 ba. ENDRICH NIGHTMARESTAFF. Nightmare Staff. Eldritch Nightmare Staff. Zerite Vams. ECO Boots. Echo Boots. And then if I'm feeling extra crispy, ALYSIA. That's if I'm feeling real spicy. And this is like dream gear. If I could get all of this gear, I would do nothing but Inferno until I got the cape, and then probably sell everything off for a more balanced, rounded out bank. Take a sand pew. Got a zit on my eyebrow. That's gonna bug me. Is that... Hold on. Is the flap fight still going on? No. Flap fight is over. I thought I had left it up. And then this is just my skilling grinds, you know, AFK fishing, fletching, viable, thieving, Arty Knights, working on whatever. Herblore, woodcutting, Winter Todd for fire making, Sepulchre for agility, Hunter's Humor for hunter, Blood Runes / Guardians of the Rift, and then I think mining, I might have to look into what is actually meta now, because I know they changed a few things around with mining. Yattato. $484 for a mini mass. We can do that. 484. back on good old US soil. Boop, 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 doop, 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 doop. Na da da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There. Okay. Ah, I should probably drink some more prayer potions. No, prayer potions. Don't want to be breaking the bank here. Da 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 da. Four, 5, 9. I could probably do 4, 5, 9. Always be nice when you can. World 305 melee phase. I don't want to do that. Closed 512. Melee phase 2, 4, 6, 5. I don't know how to do melee phase 2 confidently. Hmm. 313. I'm tired of the cheesecake. Eat all of the pre-pots. 8, 4, 5. Ooh. Wha- Yeah, I got 2 brews left in the bank there. It's nothing important. Come on, next, pop on out. We all want to see you. We just want to say hi. That's it. There's a Ruby Proc. That's nice. Go reset yourself next. Alright. I'm just not hitting this phase. There's something. I'd appreciate a couple more of those next, if you would be so kind. Oh, back to the middle with you. 1, 2, buckle. My shoe! Next, get off of me, get off of me. There we go. I would really appreciate it if you would phase next. Go to the next phase. Next. There we go. It's not the worst thing in the world if I run out of super combat, but it's not a nice feeling. Let's wait for that last phase to use our final super combat here. Uh-oh. That's big damage. Did they DC or something? Oh. This guy's just getting beaten to shit. Oh my goodness. Come on. Nah, nothing. This will probably be the last kill I do on stream. Then I'm probably gonna shut it down so I can relax a little bit. Choo-choo-choo. I should have hit the Manaphyte Remedy first. Doot, doot, doot. Let's make this the lucky one. Double proc. And we got the cough. Now we're hitting a little bit. That was a lot easier than last time. Let's see if we can make a pit stop. Nice. How? How did that happen? How did I walk? Oh, jeez. Trying to stack me out next? Be humble next. Don't hit me for 15s every time. Give me a little room to breathe. Okay. Lacey's going down. Get ready for the last phase. And send my Void Wakers. Some nice hits with the Void Waker. Next. Give me something pretty. Nah, nothing great. I guess we're going. Well, as long as I'm here, might as well keep sending the kills. One, two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 1, 2. 1, 2. And there and there. we go. And that should be fine. That's fine. Yeah, just fine. And there we go. Easy peasy. Get off me, Nex. Get off me! Well, didn't work, but what can you do? Okay. Should have brewed instead of used my angler there. That's my mistake. Okay. Come on, next. Come on, next. Be humble. Unfortunate. Oh. Well, we can go for one more, and, yeah, we got the kill count for it. Why not? Let's go for another one. Get rid of that, da. And then we're going to need one angler and something to get our prayer back up. And then doot doot. Doot 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 doot. Doot 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 doot. Okay. Doot, doot. There we go. And let's get this next drop. How are you, my one lovely viewer? It might say two there because I'm also watching my own stream just to make sure nothing goes wrong with it. But how are you this lovely weekend? It's been pretty good over here. Just doing some read some book, did some next. Overall, pretty decent. Summon our thrall. Pray correctly. They hit both their specs. Nice. This should be a quick phase then. Oh yeah, another random proc. And we're down to Fumus. Who got the cough? Not me? That's all I care about. Oh, perfect. He reset right when we needed her to. Easy phase 2. Reset, please. Thank you. And with that reset, I think we're going to make it to Umbra. There we go. And Umbra should go down real quick. Gotta pray correctly, that would be helpful. Just gotta stand apart for this part. And go in with the Void Waker. And the Void Waker. Throw up another Thrall. And we're on to Cruor. Damn it. I always assume that that's available when it's not always available. Chug some brews. Okay, easy. Hit the they hit the spec. That's nice. Let's throw out a Void Waker here and contain this. You don't have to hit me like that, Nex. I'm gonna brew up just to be safe. And we're on to Glacies. really don't want to stack on top of each other during ice phase, otherwise you could both get ice prisoned, and if one person doesn't have a fang or something, then you're kind of screwed. Okay. Hello, Nex's final phase. Gotta move my inventory around for this last part. Jesus, Nex, leave me alone! Leave me alone! Ah, nothing great. Just a couple of blood runes. But I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. 56 KC. I don't mind giving up 56 KC because I'm out of here anyway. Well, I think that's gonna do it for the stream. Enjoyed reading this morning and doing some next. Fortunately, no drops in my name, but what can you do? You can't get lucky every time. Yeah. Where did my void wick go? Oh, there's my fang. Okay. Didn't know if my fang actually went to the bank. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks everyone who stopped by. Feel free to check out any of the other stuff I've been putting out. I'll be making an in-depth sort of summary of the book while Guthix sleeps, or the Gift of Guthix. And I'm excited for that video. But aside from that, just trying to make money for the Inferno. So, thanks everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day.